let's just dive in. What's up, my friends? Today I have a special guest, Miranda. Miranda goes outside. She has become a dear friend of mine from the last backpacking trip we did in Utah. Now we're in her turf, and she has new gear. The last time we did this, it was a little bit of a funny setup because everybody else chose your gear.
And also on that trip, the last time that we did this like Battle of the Backpackers, I was using gear that other people chose for me. But because of that, some of the gear that I have now is actually based on our trip and also based on the gear that was chosen for me by other YouTubers. So this is pretty cool.
That's awesome. Okay, so this is another edition of Battle of the Backpackers. Miranda and I go head to head, toe to toe, battling it out for who has the best gear. Who will win? Let's dive in and find out. Also with us is Rainer, the cameraman.
What's up?
And master of our domain. But let's start off with your big three.
Totally.
Yeah.
Sick. Okay, so the first thing I have is my tent. So this tent is, you probably recognize this.
I do recognize this tent. Yeah, that is a beautiful tent you got there.
It is a gorgeous tent.
Yeah.
So this is the Nemo Hornet Elite Osmo one-person tent.
Okay.
The whole reason that I have this tent is because when Eric and I did our trip to Buckskin Gulch, Eric was using the two-person version of this tent, and I was so envious of it.
Yeah.
So I literally got back from that trip and then got this tent.
That's awesome.
I mean, yeah, it was like...
I influenced you.
You 100% influenced me. I mean, I got home and like the next day I was like, shaking off all the like sand and stuff and was like, need the Nemo.
Okay, so why the one person? Because this is a pretty narrow tent.
It's quite small. The reason I opted for the one person is that I essentially never share a tent. Like I almost always am backpacking. Not that I'm backpacking alone, but I'm always sleeping in my own tent.
Yeah.
And a two-person tent just it started to feel a little bit like too much space for me. Like my gear's gotten a lot lighter over the years. It's gotten a lot smaller.
Yeah.
I'm very particular about my stuff. I'm very much like a person who likes to like cocoon myself in things. And so like having a bunch of gear around me in my tent, I sort of feel like,
safe.
I feel like King Midas. I'm like, like all my stuff around me, like everything's gold. So I like the smaller version of this tent. For me, there's certainly times where I like wish I had the two-person version. So if you are like trying to decide if you want a one or two, there are certainly times that I think if I was a bigger person or if I liked some space to spread out, this would be too small.
The times when it really matters to me to have the one person versus the two person is really like if you're on a trip where it's super rainy. And then you have the ability to like keep all of your gear inside and safe and drier.
Yeah.
Okay, so the two-person tent is very expensive. It's like $650.
Yeah.
Do you remember what this one is?
I think that this one is $575.
Okay, so it's not a huge savings.
No, it's still quite expensive. Yeah. Although I will say that this is the Hornet Elite Osmo. The Hornet Osmo is about $150 cheaper, I think, maybe $100 cheaper. If you don't care necessarily about the super, super light version, you can get just the Hornet.
There is some ways to save some money. I do like the Hornet Elite. It's like the two-person tent is just over 2 pounds.
Yeah.
This one is, I'm assuming, a little bit under 2 pounds.
It is, yeah. It's 1.5 pounds, I think. So it's quite light.
That is, especially for like a freestanding, that is hard to beat.
Yes. And this tent, there's so many things that are amazing about this tent. It is so easy to set up. It's like one of the easiest tents to set up that I've ever used before. It is a semi-freestanding, but I love that you can basically stake out all 4 corners of this tent. Like if you look at, you're right there, Rainer?
Yep.
If you like look out here, you can like stake out all 4 corners. You essentially just like make it a rectangle and then pop the poles in really quickly. Yeah. So easy to set up. I love this little light diffusing pocket up here.
Ooh.
You have this in that one
too,
yeah?
Yeah, it is very...
It's super effective.
It's very pleasant.
It is really pleasant. Yeah, you like put a headlamp in there and it creates a really nice glow. So I adore this tent. It's actually been kind of the tent that I've been using essentially since our trip. Yeah. Like once I got it, I have just fallen in love with it. I've primarily been using this tent. I was using a Gossamer Gear tent. I tried other like ultralight, non-freestanding trekking pole tents. And those were really great, especially for me as someone who had been a traditional backpacker and then discovered ultralight. It was like I did like a big swing, you know? I was like, get rid of this, like get the ultralight trekking pole tent. Now I think I've kind of like settled back in the middle.
Yeah.
So,
oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that I think that is like the trekking pole tents are super light, but this is on par with the lightweightness of a trekking pole tent. trekking pole tents often just take up so much more space.
They do.
You need
huge.
way more terrain to work with. Whereas this, you could just like slot this into the tiniest little nook and cranny.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I do like. There are so many times where, like, we were looking around for a bunch of campsites last night, and you have so many more options.
Oh my gosh, completely.
With a small footprint tent like this.
Yeah, it's awesome. So, yeah.
Okay, so the last time that we did this, Kyle made a bunch of appearances for how poorly he recommended certain gear.
Kyle did me dirty with that quote.
That's the main takeaway here.
That's the point of this video.
Yeah.
Kyle sucks.
So, and you kept talking about other things. Do you have some of those things with you?
I do, yes. Oh,
Yes.
I think I actually have everything
Oh.
that I was missing on that trip.
Okay,
So last
nice.
time we did this, I was using a quilt that Kyle had recommended, a sleeping pad that Kyle had recommended, and a pillow that Kyle had recommended, and I missed my stuff. So let me show you my stuff.
Nice,
that I have
nice,
it.
awesome.
I'm using my usual favorites. So this is the Enlightened Equipment Revelation down quilt. This is the 20-degree quilt, 850 fill power. This was the first ever backpacking quilt that I used.
Yeah.
I've used several since this one, and this is far and away my favorite.
Yeah.
So there's something about
That
it.
is a nice texture.
Yeah, it is. And you have this like really like nice draft collar. You can actually get even a bigger draft collar on this if you want. There's so much about this quilt that I just adore. When I say I've used other quilts, it's mostly because I think I had this initial reaction to a quilt with this one that was like, wow, what have I been missing out on? These are amazing.
Yeah.
And then I tried others and I was like, okay, maybe it's just this one that's amazing that I love, you know?
Quilts
So-
are like, I've used some quilts that I'm just like, nope, this is not for me. I do not like this.
Yeah.
And I've used some that are like, okay, this is next level.
Yeah, that's how I feel about this one. I adore it.
Yeah.
And then for my sleeping pad, I'm using the Nemo Tensor sleeping pad. This is the Tensor insulated.
Is this the old one?
It is the old one. I've had this
Oh.
sleeping pad for probably 4 or 5 years.
Look at you
I've
being
had-
old school.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I've had this sleeping pad since before I started making YouTube content at all. So this sleeping pad has been around for a long time.
Have you had any issues with durability on that?
I did have one that got sprung a hole, and I could not for the life of me find the hole. And I
Oh.
tried so hard, and I couldn't do it. So I sent it into Nemo, and they also looked for the hole, also couldn't figure out what was going on, so they sent me a new one.
Oh,
So
wow.
I would say yes in the sense of having a problem with durability because it obviously sprung a hole. But no, in the sense that Nemo was like, yeah, we're not sure, you know?
Yeah.
Like, we are just going to recycle this material, and then we're going to, send you a new one. So, plus with Nemo right now, it's like Nemo's moving towards this whole model where all of their stuff is endlessly recyclable. They call it Endless Promise.
So I've heard their endless promise
Yeah.
slogan, but I didn't actually know that that's exactly what they meant.
Yes, it basically means you'll use this piece of gear until it fails, and when it fails, send it back to us. We will give you a percentage off on whatever thing, or we'll repair it if it's can be repaired. We'll replace it if it needs to be replaced, and then we'll just recycle everything and we'll
Yeah.
make it into new gear.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's
that
really
is really
epic.
cool.
Now I know some people have complained about this version, the old Tensor, as being the R value not being as high as advertised. Like they've been cold in it before, cold on it. I'm not sure if I've had that issue before. I've definitely been cold at temperatures I thought I should be warm, but there's so many factors in that,
It's not always, that the R value isn't there.
Exactly. Yeah. It's also just not having the right warm clothing or whatever.
You could be dehydrated.
Which for me is likely.
Yeah.
Almost always.
Yeah.
So anyway, and that's the sleeping pad. I just love it so much. I'm very emotionally attached to it.
Yeah.
Let me show you my pillow now,
Okay.
because this is the other thing. I use the.
and it
I'm gonna
attaches?
pull this off. Yeah. So
Whoa.
this is just a piece of elastic that attaches this to my sleeping pad.
Who makes that fun contraption?
I made this.
You made this.
This is an old pillowcase that I
Whoa.
cut in half and sewed. I mean, you can really tell it's pretty janky. To be honest. But I just cut this in half and then sewed some elastic onto it so that I can put it around my sleeping pad because I've become such a quilt person.
Yeah.
And then the pillow that I have in here is the Nemo Philo Elite. There's a few things about it that I like
just
a
the
lot
texture?
better. Well, no, because it goes in here. I don't even notice the texture.
Okay.
It's the shape of it. It's the fact that it's a rectangle, whereas the Citizen Eros is quite small. It kind of goes like this and has a little spot there that cuts down for your neck. I also don't like that the Eros pillow has a separate stuff sack. This one has an integrated stuff sack, so I never lose it. That Eros pillow, I almost always lose the stuff sack, whereas this, it's like, I just stuff it back in there. I adore this pillow so much. I think it's so comfortable. What I love also about the Philo Pillow series is that they have like the Philo Elite, they have the Philo Regular, they have the Philo, what is it called? It's like the Philo Ultra or something. It's like a really big, poofy, thick one. So like, depending on how you sleep, depending on like your comfort level,
This is the Elite?
This is the Elite. So this is the lightest, smallest.
And you have the Elite 10?
I do. Yeah.
Do you feel like you're an elitist?
I do not. Because of this. Because of this
handmade. Yeah, that makes you complete for the people.
Yes, exactly. If you want to make your own pillow stuff sack like this or your pillow sack, I actually did a video with a bunch of backpacking DIYs, and this is one of them. I will say there's a company called Pillow Strap that makes a really fantastic, far better designed, far better made version of this. So if you don't want to sew your own from like old materials.
But that's charming.
Thank you. Yeah. I have an attachment to this. As you can tell, I often have attachments to my gear. I get pretty emotionally attached. So yeah, that's my pillow. That is my sleeping bag or my quilt.
Do you remember how much this costs? Is this like a super expensive quilt?
It's not. It's like kind of in the middle price range for quilts. It's not super expensive. It's definitely not cheap. But it comes in a variety of different temperature ratings as well. Yeah. So I'm not sure what the 20-degree costs.
Okay.
Yeah.
It will pop up.
Yeah, and this is the cost of the quilt, and this is the cost of the pillow and the sleeping pad. Great. A few other things that I have in here that I want to show off.
Yeah.
So actually, just one other thing I want to show off.
Yeah.
So these.
Can we stand up?
Yeah.
My knees are. I'm old.
Sorry. These actually made their first appearance on our video together.
Your booties and sandal combo.
Are you so jealous?
I am so jealous.
These are these little synthetic booties from Enlightened Equipment as well. They're the Apex Torrid booties. Yep. And I am in love with these. These are like my new sleep socks. Yeah. You know how you always like special socks for sleep?
Oh yeah.
Change them too?
Yeah.
These are my special socks. It's so cozy. And I think if you are someone who loves camp shoes, which I am very much, but you're also someone who like wants to have cozy warm feet, or you like want to carry some sort of special sock for sleeping in, these are just so nice. I love these so much. They're also super easy to clean. Like if they get dirty or you like get like dirt in them, unlike socks where you're like shaking your socks out, you just like literally flip these inside out and wipe them off. So
that's great.
Yeah, these are awesome. Highly recommend.
So down booties are like one of the things that I feel like is a luxury item. Yeah. But I only mean that in the sense that like it is what makes, you don't need it to go backpacking, but it makes your experience feel so much more luxurious.
Yes.
And it's not necessarily luxury because it's expensive.
Yeah.
But just because of how it makes you feel.
Totally.
So I endorse those. Those are really cool.
Yeah, these are awesome.
I feel like you are like the accessories queen.
Absolutely.
You are like so good at like the knickknacks, the paddywhacks, like all of those, like the add-on things.
Yeah. I mean, that for me is like really what makes backpacking so fun. Yeah. Is like having my stuff. Do you know what I mean? It's like having my things.
Totally.
Do you know the movie Labyrinth? You ever seen Labyrinth with
Pan's Labyrinth?
No, Labyrinth with David Bowie.
Oh, okay. Not the creepy.
No.
Okay. Yeah. Yes.
Anyway, Labyrinth with David Bowie. There's like a character in that. She's like a puppet. She's like, we're like one of like the Muppet things. And she's like a bag lady. And she has like all this stuff. And she keeps being like, yes, take this thing. That's like how I feel. I'm always like piling stuff on myself. I'm like, oh, you want this. You take this. You'll want it. You know?
You got the voice down.
In here. Thank you. I love bringing accessories with me on my backpacking trips.
You accessorize.
I do accessorize.
Do you have any other accessories?
Yes,
things?
Actually.
Should we go into that zone of the video?
Yes. Let me really quickly show you two things I'm excited about. Three things, almost.
3 things.
So, yeah, 3 things. So, one is actually this Luminade lantern. Yeah. This is not ultralight at all. This thing is for sure on the heavy side. You can, like, hold it. But, I mean, it's not like, you know, it's not going to weigh you down or anything. No. But what I love about this lantern is that it actually allows me to charge stuff as well. It has, like, a charging port on it. So I can charge electronics, and then it just packs down super small, boop, like that. And I can strap this to my pack, and it will charge while I'm hiking. And then you can see here, you can see how much charge it has. So we used it last night and it still has 4 bars.
Wow.
So yeah.
It is really nice to just have one of these around camp. It just kind of creates a nice ambiance.
Yeah.
It's for, like you said, it's not an ultralight piece of gear, but it is just like a cozy thing to have at camp. If you're doing a trip that you can afford to carry it.
Totally. Especially when you're with multiple people, you know, it's like if I was by myself, I would never bring this, you know, but with like 3 people, having something that you can put in the middle to like really create a vibe, you know, especially in a place where like you cannot have campfires, this like becomes the campfire.
That was our campfire.
It was our campfire.
We were all sitting around it last night.
Yeah, we were. Can't make s'mores, but that's okay. So yeah, that's one of my accessories that I am very excited about. Oops. Flip it right side up so it charges.
So it charges.
There you go.
Okay.
And another thing I want to show you, because we're talking about me being the accessories person, this is my little bag of like my goodies. So this is a Hartford Gear Co. pouch, like an ultralight little pouch.
Yeah.
I have in here my phone charger, because we are gone for 5 days.
Yeah.
I have...
This is the kind you can just set your phone on top?
That's right.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
No cords needed.
No cords needed.
That's
so I can plug
handy.
that into that Luminade and it'll charge. So yeah. And then I also have this little Write in the Rain notebook. This notebook has some notes in here, but then it also has, like, I wrote down how much water I need for rehydrating my food that I made, you know? So this is my little like notebook.
Do you like journal? Is that what that's for?
I used to. I don't really anymore.
Yeah.
But the main reason for that is that I bring this, which I'm not going to open and show you, but this is my like drawing notebook.
Does that have all your crushes in there?
Has all of my crushes in there. Exactly.
So it's secret.
Yeah, I can't show it to you.
Yeah.
It's just like a bunch of drawings of Rachel Weisz on here. Anyway, so yeah, this is that little notebook. And then I have all of these really inexpensive colored pencils in like different
That's cool.
colors. Yeah, I'm gonna pull them out of here. I will bring colors kind of depending on what colors I'm expecting to see. So like, you know, these are some greens and some yellows and some oranges and some blues.
Yeah.
Obviously, if we were like in the desert, I would bring like mostly oranges
Brown.
and browns, and one or two greens. So
Yeah.
that's my little goodie bag.
Goodie bags? You have, that's not your only goodie bag.
No, I have another goodie bag that actually has a game in it too.
You are well known for your goodie bags.
I am. I know.
At least that's what I feel like you're well known for.
Yes.
Maybe it's not right.
This is my other. You want to stand up, Grandpa?
Oh, whoa, that was an uppercut.
Sorry. Wow. So this is my other kind of big accessory item. In here, I have all sorts of stuff.
Gummies?
I have Smart Sweet gummies.
Nice.
Here, wait, actually, can you just put your hands out so I can give you stuff?
Yeah.
Smart Sweet gummies. I have a beef stick. I have, let's see, what else do I have in here? I have sunscreen. I have like, oh, this is kind of cool.
You put contacts on. You were a contact wearer.
I was a contact wearer. I got LASIK a while ago. But this is a hack that I learned from someone actually, like a commenter. So in my contacts case, on one side, I keep a little bit of cortisone cream. And on the other side, I keep some ibuprofen.
Vitamin I.
Yeah. So these are my like use quickly things, the stuff that I like often need when I'm hiking. And so I keep these in here, like really easily accessible.
Okay. I genuinely think that's a brilliant, like, little medical first aid hack.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times I'm feeling like, oh, like I could probably take some ibuprofen, but I don't really want to set my pack down, dig out my med kit, and like find that. But if that was just like right there, you'd be like, boop.
Yeah, and even if you're like keeping a packet of ibuprofen in here, or like you're trying to keep small versions of stuff, it's like this is just so much easier. And like maybe for you it's ibuprofen and I don't know, something else. Maybe it's sunscreen, maybe it's whatever. But like this is my version of that, and I think it works super well.
That is brilliant.
I know, super smart.
I think I'm gonna take on that little trick.
You should.
Yeah.
And she like sent me, the person who recommended this to me, she sent me a photo of hers and she like decorated the side of it that like, so it had the writing of, it was like said like cortisone, like what it was. It was so smart.
Wow, that's great.
I also have sunscreen in here.
Sunbloom, nice.
I have my lotion.
How are you fitting all of, is this like Hermione's magic
it is.
bag?
It is very much that.
Yeah.
And then this is my game that we play. This is Cosmic Wimp Out. This should actually probably go in my other goodie bag with these stickers and stuff. But I keep stickers on hand. This is so silly. But I keep stickers on hand because occasionally we run into people on the trail who recognize me, especially like being in Washington. And so I want to be able to give them a sticker.
Is it like a prize? like for spotting you in the wild?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's more my way of being like, thanks for saying hi.
Yeah.
But like so far, I've brought this with me, and every single time someone recognizes me, I completely forget to give them one. So I'm like trying to get better at that.
Yeah.
To keep those.
That's
so
great.
This, which is my cool tie. This is like
I noticed that yesterday.
Cooling towel. Yeah. It's all wrapped up right now, but this material, it's essentially like the length of a headband. And I can soak this in water and I can wrap it around my head.
Yeah.
It helps kind of cool me down. I have POTS, so like I have chronic migraines. And so like heat and like exercise and sweating can like sort of be detrimental to me.
Yeah.
So this is one of the things that helps with that a lot.
Is it a noticeable difference?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll definitely cool me down a ton because it works by staying really wet. And so then the evaporative cooling process keeps you cool.
Yeah.
So this is super crucial for that. And then the other thing that is super crucial is this. This is Element electrolyte powder. So this stuff for me is like an absolute necessity. I think I brought, for a 5-day trip, I think I brought 20 packets of Element because I'm drinking
20.
basically 4 per day.
Whoa.
Yeah. Salt is one of those things that I have known this about myself for a long time, which is that like I desperately need electrolytes.
Yeah.
I sweat a lot. I get dehydrated really easily. And of all the electrolyte mixes I've tried, this one's my favorite. But now that I also am dealing with this thing, POTS, which requires people to drink even more salt, it's like, this is just a necessity for me.
These are a game changer.
They are.
And for me, like I plowed through 3 yesterday without having like a medical condition, but I was just sweating so much and my body was desperately like, put more salt in me.
Yeah.
So, and those are delicious.
They're so good.
Like I just drink them like even if I don't like need them because they taste so good.
Yeah, they're amazing. And like the fact that they have, I think this is what I love about it most. It's like sodium, it's potassium, it's magnesium. For me, those is like exactly what I need to replenish my electrolytes. I will drink them because I love the way that they taste.
Yeah.
And they're the most effective electrolyte mix that I've ever used.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, I could go on and on. You know, I'm like effusive about Element. Anyone who's ever seen my channel knows this. I just adore them. So, yeah.
Well, so it's not because you're sponsored by them, but you have been sponsored by them.
Yeah.
And they have recently become a sponsor of my channel.
That's so cool.
Which I love because I genuinely adore Element. They taste so good. Like if it doesn't taste good, it doesn't really, to me, it doesn't matter as much if it works, if it's like, feels like you're taking medicine, but it genuinely tastes great and I feel better and it feels like the right concoction for me, like you said.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. And like, this is like kind of like the perfect segue. Okay. So this video and my channel is sponsored by Element now. And the cool thing is that if you want to try it out, Element is offering you to get a free sample pack that's 8 flavors with any purchase that you make. So if you want to get a sample pack, try out these flavors, give them to a salty friend, you know, share them with whoever, try out the personal favorites. Do you have a personal favorite flavor?
No, I go back and forth. Right now it's citrus salt. This is my current personal favorite, but it changes.
Okay, so. Citrus is my number 2.
Okay.
Raspberry salt is my absolute dominant favorite. So if you want to get that, again, free sample pack with any purchase, go to drinkelement.com/erichanson. That's DRINK, elemente.com/erichanson. That was fun.
You're going to love it. Everyone I introduced to Element is like, oh my God, it's amazing.
Okay, yeah, that absolutely tracks because like my wife started drinking it now that I have like a bunch of it in my house. We drink it every day.
It's
like, honestly, every day.
so good. Yeah.
Yeah. I always learned so much from you with this and there were 8 things in there that I'm like, I think I'm going to start using that.
Yeah.
So
I'm happy to share it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
I recognize this old, big, beautiful backpack.
Totally. I'll give you like the briefest rundown on this pack because I have been using it now for a while and I used it on our last trip, last time we did this.
Yeah.
This is the Light AF pack. This is, I believe, the 46 liter. I'm so bad at remembering the name of it.
Curve.
Curve. This pack is incredible. It has so many pockets. This huge stretch pocket on the front. We've got pockets on either side here. We've got these big pockets that are amazing. What's awesome about these pockets is that I can fit my Nalgene in here. I am a Nalgene user. And then I still have a lot of space. So if I want to like slide my trekking poles down in there or my tent poles or whatever, I have room there. And then on the other side, I can keep all sorts of other stuff. Right now I have my couscous that's cold soaking in a Talenti jar.
I was really jealous of your couscous yesterday.
Oh, it was so good. I'm excited about that. Now, one thing I did to this pack that is maybe surprising. It actually came with 2 shoulder strap pockets that were for water bottles.
Yeah.
But I frequently am using this strap for my GoPro.
Yeah.
And so I actually removed those pockets. I put this strap on here.
You modified it.
I modified it. And then I removed the other one and I put this Chicken Tramper gear pocket on here because it works a lot better with my Canuck soft bottle. So yeah.
One thing that I appreciate about you is that you modify your gear to your taste. And I feel like that's something that backpackers don't necessarily feel like they have permission to do.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, well, that just means I need to buy a different backpack. But like, that's just one small example. Your like all the other mods that you made, your pillow thing, you just whip it up and make it.
Yeah.
Like, you can be creative. With
Totally.
that. And you are a creative person, so
Thanks.
that like lends to that perfectly.
Yeah, I think it's. I think once you sort of realize that backpacking gear is meant to work for you, you're not meant to like fit to the gear.
Yeah,
then it's a lot easier to do that. You know.
So smart.
Thanks.
Are there any other little doodads you?
I mean, I have so many little doodads, but I feel like I've shown you the cool stuff.
Okay.
I feel like I've given you a good rundown. Obviously, if anybody wants to see the rest of my gear, they can check out my channel and like see a lot of the gear that I recommend and use. But I think I've covered it.
Okay, so the first time we did this, you did go through a lot of like hygiene related stuff.
Yeah.
That was super handy. So if you are interested, if you're like any sort of backpacker that wants to know more about hygiene, you are a great resource.
I do talk about
on that.
Yeah.
And if you want to go look at the first video we did, there's some really cool pieces of gear in there.
Yeah.
For specifically hygiene.
Yeah.
And you've got this big, beautiful bear can that has a lot of your flair on it.
So many stickers on here, all rainbow.
I love your very colorful,
very intentional rainbow canister.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
And it's your seat.
It is my seat too. This is my chair. So yeah, since we're out for 5 days, I just opted to bring this to fit all my food, and I can also use it as a chair, so I didn't bring my chair this time.
Yeah.
I just love the ease and simplicity of it. And even though it's heavy, there's a part of me that just loves that.
Yeah.
You know, I love that everything gets shoved in there and it's just this like lump. You know what size it is every single time, regardless of how full it is, and that just goes into your pack. I think it actually makes it easier to pack your stuff.
They're bulky to carry. They take up about a lot of space.
Yeah.
But I agree. They are kind of nice, just like organizationally.
Yeah.
You can sit on them.
Yeah.
You just set them off from camp.
Yeah.
And you don't have to worry about tying stuff up and hanging, throwing rope over trees and anything like that.
These are also less expensive than the bear bags, like the Ursacks and stuff like that. Like if you're
those
buying
Ursacks
a bear,
are expensive.
they're expensive. Yeah. So I feel like if you're used to hanging your food and you now want to start storing your food, a bear canister, and personally, specifically the Bear Vault, because it's like the most accredited one, that's like what I'd recommend.
I love it.
Yeah. Thanks.
Okay. Do you have anything else before we move on?
No, that's it. I'm done.
Okay. Well, then it's time for the other half of Battle of the Backpackers. We're going to go to the better side of camp.
Do you think that there's no way your gear's beating mine out this time?
I think you're going to win. I think you are going to win. Because I'm doing something a little different.
You are. Last time I did the different thing. So.
Yeah. So my different thing that I'm doing this time around is, for this trip, I really wanted to go kind of back in time of my own evolution as a backpacker. I started absolutely as a traditional backpacker. So using like definitely not ultralight backpacks, not ultralight tents, just like what you could get at like it was called Popular at the time, which was our gear store in Arizona, just like what you could get there. So I'm using a lot of that stuff. Cool. So I think the first thing that I want to talk about is the big obvious thing right here is my tent.
Huge.
It is huge. This is a 2-person tent. This is the Featherstone. And the coolest thing about this tent is the price.
How much is it?
Take a guess.
$350.
Okay. Based on the design, like that is what a lot of these tents go for.
Yeah.
This one is $109.
Wow.
This is like very much an inexpensive tent. Now, it is a 4-pound tent, so you do pay for it with weight.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
But the 4 pounds is actually not that different than some of the very same sized tents that are $300 plus.
Wow. Okay.
So I have been on a kick where I've been really this summer trying to find more budget gear. And so this was one of the things that I found that I really feel like was a score. And I wanted to get this out on we're doing a big 5-day trip. I want to see if at the end of my 5 days, I'm as in love with it as I am right now. Now, granted, it's heavy.
Yeah.
But just like design, spaciousness wise,
yeah, I want to take a look.
I really like this. The amount of mesh that's in here is
that
awesome.
Is so nice. And this is Featherstone, you said, right? Like they're known for being a really good budget brand.
This is the Featherstone Granite 2-person tent. And yeah, they have a lot of other stuff too. And you can just get them on Amazon for like really cheap.
Awesome.
But they have like some cool design things. So there's like this big giant storage tray up here.
I love that. Or if you wanted to just use that hook to hang a lantern or something.
Yeah, you could hang from here. So like the thing that I'm really impressed with is for the price, the budget tent, this is, I feel like, equally as well thought out as some of the much more expensive versions.
Yeah.
So like, yes, like hanging a lantern from here, hanging or just storing like maybe your phone or whatever, like a headlamp or whatever you might want to put up here, gloves or beanies or anything like that.
Yeah.
And then you have tons of room. So this is a true 2-person backpacking tent. I believe it's over 50 inches. I think it's 50 inches wide. Wow. So you could put two 25-inch wide mattresses in here and you wouldn't feel cramped. It has vertical walls. Like, so 2 people could be sitting side by side upright. That's awesome. And you wouldn't be like out of room or just like doing the like, hello.
Yeah, right.
You're touching because there's only one spot.
You said you could put 2 25-inch wide mattresses in here, but actually a standard sleeping pad is 20 inches wide.
Right.
So if you put 2 standard pads in here, you'd have even, like that's,
you would have,
really is spacious enough.
Yeah, so then you'd have like extra stuff or like space for extra gear to be,
that's awesome.
to be laid out. But something that I do think about is if you can fit 2 25-inch wide. Buckaroo. Were you giving me an attaboy? You're like, oh, I thought you were like, good on you.
I was like, get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is super cool. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, it's great. So like this brow pull, what that does is it's big and wide and it makes the doors vertical.
Yeah.
Everything in here works really flawless. So far works really flawlessly. Like the zippers are super clean. So if you're looking for like a really budget tent, granted it's 4 pounds, so it's not ultralight at all, but it's great.
If like your barrier to entry in backpacking is the cost of gear.
Yeah,
then,
which
like,
it is for a lot of people.
Yeah, the most important thing is just getting the gear. So,
Yeah.
Cool,
So
I love that.
I think that's cool.
Sick.
And also like this is not an ultralight, or this is an ultralight piece of gear. Probably my lone ultralight piece of gear that I have with me is the new Nemo Tensor, the what is it?
This is the insulated one, right?
This is the insulated one. So this is, I think, a 4.5 R value mattress, and it's tiny.
Wait, so you're using the updated version of mine?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
It is the updated version. And I actually used this a bunch last year.
Yeah.
And a little bit earlier this year, but it got a hole in it.
Oh.
Which was like why I'm asking about like the durability stuff.
Yeah.
And I patched it, but this is like the first trip that I've used since I've patched it. And so, and like it worked perfectly last time. Okay, so
what is this thing?
I have been using quilts for the last year, I would say. And it's become pretty obvious, especially with how much I've talked about the Zen Bivy, that I've really fallen in love with it. That's what I was using the last time.
Yeah.
But like the price tag is so expensive, and I actually wanted to go back to more. This isn't a mummy bag, but this is like a full-size sleeping bag. But this is the Nemo Riff, and I think it's actually a really nice blend between quilt and sleep and like mummy bag, because it gives you so much more space to roll around and do the things that is nice in a quilt that can be tough in a mummy bag. Yeah, I love these vents. It does actually make a difference. It vents, it just, it's not a dramatic venting, but it does help.
It is super effective, yeah.
Yeah.
This is actually the same sleeping bag that Rainer uses, right?
Yes, it is.
Whoa.
Yeah, sleeping bag bros.
Yeah,
sleeping bag bros.
I think like if I ever go back to using a sleeping bag, I think that the Nemo bags would be the ones I would go for.
Yeah.
They're just so comfortable.
Yeah, it's still kind of a little bit of an expensive bag. It's still high end, but it's closer to the middle.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is a great sleeping bag if you want like some people don't like quilts because it lacks, like I have thought they lack coziness. Like you just feel enclosed. And this is very nice because you get that. Like you can just wrap up, tuck in, and you're great. So this is the Eros down pillow.
Oh, what?
This is the, I think you had the ultralight one. Like it wasn't premium.
No. Do you put it in the pillow pocket?
Oh yeah, like that's another like I do love that it just integrates. It might be too inflated to go in there right now.
But like before you inflate it, you can put it in there and then inflate?
Yes, and I do use that.
Yeah, I gotta say this looks really cozy in here. This is like a nice setup.
It is, and this, so like I think the sleeping bag is like $400, so it's pricey, but it's not just like so insanely expensive. So it's like a great thing if you want to make your setup feel more luxury without spending $1,000.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a nice one.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Sick.
And I don't have the rainfly on because it was so nice stargazing through it. Like I could actually stargaze through this mesh. Come over this way.
Wow. Sick setup.
Ye one, ye all. You got hooked.
I did.
Okay, this is probably the most traditional backpacker item I have with me here. This is the Mystery Ranch Bridger. Oh, make yourself at home.
I think I will. Do you realize how orange and gray your gear is?
It does, and how orange and gray my beard is.
Exactly.
I like my gear to represent me.
Yeah, it's doing it really well.
Yeah, thank you. I used this backpack heavily for like 2 years. Back when I was with Epic Trails, Mystery Ranch was a sponsor of Epic Trails, so I like exclusively used their backpacks. I
see.
And I loved this backpack. I thought it was the most comfortable carrying backpack that I'd ever used. Wow. And it's been 2 years since I've used this backpack. I've been going to like all ultralight backpacks because I wanted to gain that knowledge of what that was like. Yeah. So for this trip, I was like, I want to go back in time, see if this still holds up for me. So what I love about it is the amount of like organization. So you've got like this big flapper here that you can put like rain jacket, head net, med kit, trowel, bug spray, sunscreen. All that is here. I've got like a water bag at my backup, water filter here, like some patch kit stuff here.
There's so much organization.
So much organization. Almost overkill.
Yeah.
On organization. The other thing that you thought maybe last time was gimmicky, but I genuinely love, is it's got like, you can open, so you can just like set it down and like splay it open and just like, so like if I wanted, like last night when I wanted to set up my tent first, and I left everything, I just opened this up, pulled the tent out and set it up, and that I didn't have to just like.
No, that is really, really nice.
Undo everything.
Yeah, for sure. Panel loading is great.
Yeah. It's got, it's got all the standard stuff, but it's got some other interior pockets as well. And then the other cool thing is it's got this big flat zipper for your sleeping bag compartment. So what this allows you to do is have a bigger opening to stuff a sleeping bag, and then you can zip it up and buckle it closed. And what that does is it doesn't tension the zipper, which is often the first thing to fail on a backpack, is like you have the curved zipper and it's really tight, and then that zipper has to hold on to all that tension, whereas this, there's like no tension in it. So the downside, it's a very heavy backpack. On its own, it's 5.5 pounds.
Are you serious? The pack itself?
The pack empty is 5.5 pounds. But, so it's definitely not for everybody. But here's why it's great. So one, you have the ability to change the torso length. You can like slide this thing up and down, so you can really dial it in to fit your body. Wow. And then the other thing, this does the best job of transferring weight from your shoulders through your torso and onto your hips of any pack. So this will not be for every backpacker out there, but if you carry heavy loads, like I'm carrying 50 pounds.
Wow.
That's very heavy. Yeah. It does this comfortably. This also, one of the things that I really like about this particular backpack is the running vest style yoke.
Okay.
So it wears kind of like a running vest or like sort of like sports bra kind of thing. Like what it really does is it transfers weight throughout your whole sternum.
Got it.
I don't feel pain on my shoulders.
That's cool.
With a heavy load. So if you're an ultralighter, definitely it's just not for you. But if you carry heavy loads or you're like a camera photographer, like, because I have 12 pounds of my 50 is camera gear.
Wow.
So if I was not carrying any camera gear, be a 38-pound, this would be a 38-pound load with a 5-pound backpack.
I mean, realistically, that's actually not that heavy at all.
It's not that bad.
My first backpacking trip that I ever went on, I carried 45 pounds in a pack that weighed like 2.5 pounds. It was designed for an ultralight kit. It was a really bad idea. But like, not a good call. So really 38 pounds with a 5-pound backpack is not bad at all.
Yeah.
So you said that this bag is obviously not designed for an ultralight backpacker.
Yeah.
Obviously not designed for like a thru hiker. You mentioned if you carry a lot of camera equipment. What other type of person do you think this bag is best for?
So I think it would be for people who are like general outdoorsmen, or outdoors people, who probably aren't going to be investing in like top end ultralight gear, but they have like a Coleman tent, a Coleman sleeping bag, and just stuff that weighs more. So if you're maybe like a birder, a hunter, or like a general outdoor enthusiast who wants to go for long trips, I know Mr. Ranch has a lot of people that are like firefighters, like wildland firefighters, trail crews, people who just carry tools, like non-backpacking stuff. So that's maybe a small niche, but I feel like there's a lot of traditional backpackers who overall their gear just weighs like 40 plus pounds.
Yeah, totally.
And then this will just be a better fit for you.
I love that.
They're also very rugged. Like these packs will, and like you said, with warranty and stuff, can live on. Mr. Inch bags last for like 40 years.
That's amazing. Neat.
So that's my backpack. It's been kind of fun to use all this stuff again.
Yeah.
And then just again in my like not super ultralight thing, I've got this Grail water filter, and I do like this water filter. It filters water super fast and efficiently, but it's big, it's kind of heavy. I do like that you can just plunge the water through, and then this is your drinking.
Yeah.
And this is where I'm not sold on their shtick around this one. But if you, say, wanted to, you know what you can do with this?
Cook with it.
Replace your cook pot, and it's now your cook pot.
Wow.
The thing is that it just has a slightly narrower base, so you have the heat kind of goes around it a little bit more, and it's not as efficient.
Right.
But still kind of cool that it's like a backup pot.
Yeah, I guess that's cool.
I just haven't found it to be in my use cases, like one where I'm like, I want to now just have this thing all free floating, and I want to like cook my ramen in my water filter.
Yeah, I feel like that's where I would have a hard time.
Yeah. I have mixed feelings about it. I like it for like, if it was given to me, I like it. If I had to go buy it, it's really expensive.
How much do you know how much this one is?
This one with the non-plastic, the titanium, is $200.
Woo!
Which I don't feel like is worth it. I think they need to figure out their pricing and bring that down. Because like they have a plastic one that does everything else but the cook thing.
Yeah.
For $89, and even that's like way more expensive than like a Sawyer and like other.
Totally. I have one of those, one of the old ones.
Yeah.
I literally never use it.
Also, I have a little organization bag. Do you know who makes this?
No.
Are you friends with Devin Backcountry Exposure?
Yeah.
This is from his Etsy shop.
No way.
So this is my buddy Devin. He makes these really great like organization bags.
Oh my God, that's so
cool.
cool.
I've got like this is the container for my stove, my camp cup, my Big Sky International rehydration bag, my Yuko spork here, also my Element.
Oh my gosh, the best.
Yeah, because I've got my stash of those, my Death Wish coffees.
Nice.
All of those types of things. So this is like kind of like where my cooking, kitchen type things live.
It's like your Oh Hell bin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love that.
And also just like, I think Devin sells this for like, I want to say like $35, $40.
Wow.
And he's a friend of mine, so
That's so cool.
I like supporting. I think it's cool that he makes that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, another luxury item that you brought with you is this chair that I am borrowing.
You have hijacked my chair.
You brought this chair on the last trip that we went on together.
I did.
This is another one that Rainer and I both then got this chair.
Yay!
You really influenced both of us. We both have the Hornet Elite Osmo. We both have this chair.
What do you think?
I love it.
It is a great chair.
I've brought it on almost every single backpacking trip that I've gone on.
Except for this one.
Except, well, because it's so long, you know? And so for me, it was like, that was the logic. It was like, well, I can sit on my bear canister. I have other options, you know?
That's exactly why I would take a chair, though.
makes sense.
Because it's like day 3,
Yeah.
I don't want to sit on the ground.
Yeah.
Night 4, I want to be in a chair.
I am a little bit of a floor gremlin. Like, I do like to sit on the ground, that's for sure. So, but yeah, this is a great chair.
That's how I describe you to my friends.
You're like floor gremlin.
What's
Super
Miranda
strange.
like? Floor gremlin.
They're like, makes sense.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
I think that will suffice for this round of Battle of the Backpackers.
I feel like I won.
I
did have that feeling.
Okay. Last time you were like, yeah, I think Eric wins.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I think this time I'm jealous of your weight it's like 15 pounds, 18 pounds less than me.
I feel like you could maybe do a combination of our kits though and make like a perfect kit. If someone's like, well, I like what Miranda has, but it's like way too expensive and kind of unnecessary. And I like what Eric has, but maybe I want some of the fun stuff. You could like combine our 2 kits together.
Yeah.
And make the perfect kit.
I think that is the perfect thing. Yeah, so if you are watching this video, please comment with your favorite pieces of gear. And if you feel like giving the overall winner, please vote for me. It will really help my ego. I'm feeling low.
I'll vote for Eric.
Yeah, come on.
Come on.
Yes, that's it. We need to get packed up
We do.
and hit the trail. We have 4 more days of backpacking here in the Alpine Lakes Wilderness.
Yeah.
So if you're not already following Miranda, of course, you got to go follow her at Miranda Goes Outside. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks, Rainer, for manning the camera.
Hell yeah.
Thanks, Miranda, for being my for being my adversary. You were like a Balrog right there.
So sorry.
Yeah.
And cut.
Video's over. See you later, everybody.
Oh, wait, I never rolled.
What?
You did the same joke last time.
I did, didn't I? All right, cutting.
Bye.